this video is going to be best matches when it comes to love within astrology, the zodiac. I have made this video before, and this is going to be an updated version. I personally think a version that is a little bit more accurate. So my previous video, I had based it on best matches according to like your sun sign. For this video, I'm going to be focusing on best matches according to your Venus sign. Don't worry if you don't know what your Venus sign is, it's very easy to find out. You don't need your time of birth. So stay tuned and I will explain how to find your Venus in just a minute. I do want to preface this video by saying that it's not meant to be offensive in any way. I know sometimes people get annoyed or they find it hurtful if I say something about, a certain sign they don't agree with, or if I say that these two are a match and that doesn't, include their sign and their partnership, and I totally get it. Obviously, a lot more goes into what makes a good, compatible relationship than just Venus signs or just sun signs. There's so much more, but for video purposes and for fun and just for, learning some quick stuff along the way, I think that these videos can be helpful. I love all the signs, and I think anybody could really be a good match if they work on it. It's just some pairings are easier and probably come more naturally than others. So Venus. The easy way to find your Venus is you do have to know your date of birth and year, which I'm assuming most people know. And I will leave a link down below where you can see, you just go to your day of birth and your year, and you can see where Venus was at that time, so you can know what sign your Venus was in. So now we know where to find our Venus. So if you have a crush or something, or somebody that you're not sure what their Venus is, you don't really want to ask them, as long as you know their birthday, you can simply find it online. Because that is the wonder of the internet, stalking people that we're interested in, astrologically. Let's get into a little bit of what the planet of Venus is. Venus is the goddess of love. Venus rules the signs Taurus and Libra, making it a natural ruler of the second house and the seventh house. That is not seven. Seventh house. So with Venus comes a lot having to do with security and relationships, and when you break that down a little bit further, it has a lot to do with money and love. How you are when it comes to your love life, how you are when it comes to any of your personal, intimate relationships. It doesn't necessarily have to be how you are in your romantic relationships. It does have a lot to do with it, but it also can include how you are with relationships within your family, people you're very close to, close friends, stuff along those lines. Venus can also show how you handle your money, how you look for security, whether that's in a financial way, in relationships, just security in general. So that's a little bit of a brief breakdown of what Venus is. On to the fun part. So here's my birth chart, just so you can quickly get an example. Here's a symbol for Venus, and as you can see, my Venus is in Pisces in the second house. A lot of emotions going on there. So I'm just going to kind of list the best matches, and what I've done is indicated by color what kind of match it is. If you see a green font, that means that signs you have are trining. It's an aspect that's very easy, very harmonious. Your love style will be very similar to one another. So any of the same elements you'll see, say you have a Venus in Aries and a Venus in Leo, they will be trining because they are both fire signs. You easily kind of get each other, you understand each other, but you still aren't exactly the same. So it is easier to keep that spark alive. So if you see the font in a purple color, that means that your signs are conjunct with one another. So with a conjunction, usually what that means in astrology is that the energies work together positively, or they're kind of pushed together in some way that makes them act together, if that makes sense. So it's not quite as easy as, say, a trine, but you're gonna notice your styles in love are very similar. You see a lot of similarities in one another, which can work. And it also tends to make your relationship very intense. You'll notice for these colors that it's all the same signs as well. So there might be issues with keeping the spark alive, but other than that, you're just gonna have it easy going, but with a lot of intensity added. For the next color, you will see brown, which means that the signs involved would be sextiling. Sextiling is kind of a less intense trine, so it's also very harmonious, very easy going, but it's not quite as intense as the trine. So for these, you'll kind of appreciate how you both are in relationships, easy to work together. There might not be quite as much intensity, and you might have some things that you notice you do have a lot of differences on that you have to work through, but there's not going to be quite the struggle that there could be with signs that square each other or are in conjunct. So these ones you'll notice it's not in the same element, but it's the sister element, if that makes sense. So air and fire signs go together, and earth and water signs tend to go together more harmoniously. So lastly, the last color that you will see is blue, and that means means that the signs are actually opposite of one another astrologically. So a lot of times, like you've probably heard before, opposites do attract. So you'll see that you'll find each other very interesting and intriguing and maybe frustrating at first. You might not immediately hit it off, but this is a compatibility factor. Like you might eventually start to really like each other and it can work out for you. Those are what you should be looking for when you see how I do the listings, and hopefully that makes sense to you. Venus and Aries, here is a list of the best matches with Venus and Aries. You can see that it includes another Venus and Aries, it includes all of the other fire signs as well as some other signs as well. So that is the best matches if your Venus is in Aries. So let's move on to Venus and Taurus. These are the best matches for a Venus and Taurus. Again, you know, there's a lot having to do with elements and stuff along those lines. Obviously, if you look at a full birth chart, then there's way more to it than just this, but this is definitely a good starting point. Next, we have Venus in Gemini. So Venus and Gemini, you can see like a good match right off the bat is a Venus Gemini and a Venus Aries. So if your Venus is in Gemini, someone else is in Aries, you know, hit them up. Venus in Cancer, here are the best matches for having your Venus in Cancer. Again, according to me. Obviously, we all have our own opinions. Venus in Leo, here are the best matches for Venus in Leo. Venus in Virgo, here are the best matches for Venus and Virgo. I know this video is a little repetitive, but again, if I went into the breakdown of everyone, it'd be pretty lengthy. If you want me to do that in a future video, like individually for each of the signs, just let me know. Venus in Libra, here are the best matches for Venus in Libra. Venus in Scorpio, here are the best matches for Venus and Scorpio. Venus in Sagittarius, here are the best matches for Venus and Sagittarius. Venus in Capricorn, here are the best matches for Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Aquarius, here are the best matches for Venus in Aquarius. And Venus in Pisces, here are the best matches for Venus in Pisces. Okay, so that is the best matches for your Venus sign. I will be making a corresponding video about like the worst matches. Kind of scary, but whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful or useful in some way. I also just want to quickly throw out there that I am working on some videos coming out in the next like few weeks or so, and I mentioned this on my Instagram, but I'm currently looking for any Pisces men or women, either your sun in Pisces or your Venus in Pisces, that don't mind answering like 5 to 10 questions just about yourself and your love life. Just quick, easy. I would be using it in a future video, but it would be completely anonymous. I wouldn't use your name or anything that would, you know, say who you were in any way. So if you're interested in that, please DM me on my Instagram, which is Grace_Astrology, or email me at graceand4, I believe, I don't know, I'll put it here at outlook.com, like the oldest email in town. Probably should update that. If you want to be included, and don't feel left out if you're not a Pisces sun or Venus, because I will be doing this for every sign, but one at a time, because that makes it easier. And Pisces season is next, so I figured that's where it starts. I'm, yeah, being vague here. But anyways, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day or night.